Hi guys, it's Dr. Shaw. Nice to see you guys again. It's been a while since I've done like a pretty informal chit-chatty kind of video, but I felt that the topic of today's video was something that would be great to do as a chit-chatty kind of video, and something that I just wanted you guys to know. So yeah, let's just get right into it. All right, so I know that today when I'm filming it, it's 1:30 a.m. on March 14th, 2022. So first of all, I'm up super late because I'm on night shift, and tonight I have the night off, but I have night shift tomorrow, so I'm trying to stay in the schedule. So that's, if anyone's wondering, that's why I'm up so super late. And what better way to spend the night than making YouTube videos. So yeah, so that's why I'm up super late. So today's a very significant day for medical students all over the United States. It is match day. Oh, just thinking about it just gives me the chills. Like, I remember how stressful this has been for me, and the years that I was in the match. So my first year I didn't match. I think I talked about it in a previous video that I made, so you can refer to that, and the anxiety that I felt. And last year when I did match, it was just such an overwhelming feeling. Probably easily one of the most happiest days of my life, in addition to my marriage, obviously, and in addition to my wedding, of course. But yeah, definitely one of the best days of my entire life. So I am very familiar with all the feels on both sides of the results. So I thought, who better than me, because I've been in both situations, to talk about it. So first off, to all the people that match, congratulations. You guys are all gonna be amazing doctors, and you're gonna be great, fantastic residents. Just keep, that drive, keep that passion alive, and don't let intern year get you down, because it's really easy for intern year to get you down because the lack of sleep, the weird schedules, sometimes you start to really question things. But, I would just really just breathe in this moment, and then in the difficult times, just think about this moment and use that to channel whatever positive energy that you need to have later on. So yeah, congratulations right off the bat. You did it. Good job. Fantastic. Now you can relax. All your hard work has paid off. You all deserve it. It is fantastic. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be everything that you thought it would be and more. It's amazing. At least that's been my experience. All right, so now I want to talk to people that didn't match this year. I know exactly how you feel because I have been in that position, and it is so painful. Obviously, you're really happy for everyone that matched because, they all deserve it and they worked really hard. But you also worked really hard, and it's easy to beat yourself for not matching and have all this negative emotion pent up. It is a huge setback mentally, and I understand where you're coming from. So this message is for all the people that didn't match. You are still amazing, okay? Honestly, don't let this define you, and you have so much more to offer than this match cycle. You still have soap, and I know that it is very difficult to match through soap. That is true, but there are people that have done it, right? So it's possible, and that person could be you. I have heard of stories of people that have matched through soap. The key thing is to be prepared, and what I would suggest, the first thing that I wanted to talk about is when it comes to soap, when it comes to the fact that after you find out that you did a match, you don't have that much time. So it's really important to just compartmentalize and not focus on your emotions in that moment, and focus on what exactly it is that you have to do. And what you have to do is you have to focus, and you have to strategize and optimize. What I mean by that is, hopefully throughout the season you have been researching programs and you have notes about those programs. If you don't, that's fine, but it will make your life a crap ton easier if you do have it. So what you can do is that you have that package of notes ready to go, and when the soap results come out and you get the list of programs, that have available spots, you already know which ones you qualify for, because as far as I remember, and I blocked a good chunk of it out of my memory because it's so traumatic, but you have a certain, like, I think it's like 50, but you have like a set number of applications that you can send out. So you don't want to waste an application by applying to a place where, you know, you clearly don't qualify. What I mean by that is, like, if you require a visa and they don't offer a visa, don't apply to that program. If their average step score is way above what your step scores are, probably don't apply to it. If their program says no attempts and you have attempts, don't apply to it. Having those things in mind really optimizes your chance during SOAP and saves you time, because sometimes what happens, and I know this happened, well, I think it happened last year, but it definitely happened the year that I was applying, the first year that I didn't match, like, the system went down. I'm hoping that they figured it all out for this upcoming match, but that does happen. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that you really get in all your programs and get in all your applications as fast as possible, because if that system goes down, they do factor that in. And like, I think that the year that the system went down, they moved it back so that the programs had a little bit longer time to reach out to you. But the thing is, I think it's more so from a mental perspective. Like, if you already had a major blow where you didn't match, and then the second blow is that the system goes down, just mentally it can get to you a little bit, and it can be hard to stay focused. So I would say just to avoid getting emotionally derailed from the goal at hand, and try to get it in as fast as possible. So there's different strategies that people use. So one strategy is that some people would suggest that you optimize and you use all, well, if not all, but like 90% of the applications that you have available. Like, so if you have like 100, which you don't, but I'm saying, like, if you have like 100 applications that you can send out, then you send out 80 to 90 of them initially in the first round, because that's your best bet. And then as the rounds go on, it gets harder and harder. Obviously, you can still apply later. So that's what some people say. Some people say apply 80 to 90% of your available application spots right off the bat in the first thing. Some people say do all of them. I think nobody has really suggested using 50% of them, because I don't think the odds work out in your favor in that way. So it's helpful to also think about it in that way and really make sure that you have a game plan. I would suggest, once you first find out that you didn't match, sit down, take a deep breath, and collect yourself, because you don't have much time. So you can't be hosting your own little pity party. You could do that later. Definitely did it later. I did it for like a week later. It's like, it lasted a whole week, is what I'm trying to say. But you can have your pity party later. This is not the time. This is the time where you need to focus on SOAP. That's what I would suggest. If you took notes during the season, make sure that those notes are out and ready to go. The other thing is strategize how you're going to use the application that you have available, and figure out what you think will best work in your favor. You're not allowed to really reach out. That's a big no-no. I know that some people do, and it's on the DL, and you do have people making calls for you, but technically you're not supposed to, and you can get in big trouble for that. And it says it. Do what you will with that. I am not providing any opinion on that one way or another. You decide what you feel is the right thing to do. But yeah, that's another thing that does happen. Even though like the NRMP has been trying to clamp down on it, it does still happen. I think it happens maybe less. And if you do choose to engage in that, you might want to be aware that if you get caught and if you get penalized for it, you may be jeopardizing your chances of participating in the match later on. So just be very careful about that, okay? And then do what you will. After the initial shock wears off, and after you go through certain cycles, and let's say you don't match, right? It's really hard, and I'm not gonna pretend like it's not. Like, it really is. And like, this video is gonna be more on like emotional advice. Like I have another video on ways to optimize your chances and strategies about things to do, and in that video I go into more concrete details about how to optimize your chances for the next cycle, because I would hope that you're in a financial and mental and motivational space to be able to apply next year. And if you're not, that's fine too. But yeah, and then so this is going to be my little motivational aspect and something that I just really wanted to share. This is just something that like my support system told me, and it was helpful for me. Just things that like helped me and things that I needed to hear, and maybe I just want to share it with you so it can help somebody who's going through this hard time. You are enough, okay? You put everything you could, you put everything you had and everything that you could do into this, and it didn't work out, and that doesn't reflect on your character or who you are as a person. It's just a very multifactorial process, and unfortunately there are a lot of odds that are out of everyone's hands, and no one really knows where the chips fall, right? So don't take this result as a reflection on you. I think that's the biggest thing, is don't take rejection personally. It's something that happened, and it's easier said than done. I mean, I know that I took it really personally, and it, like, my self-esteem took a huge hit, and I think that's pretty normal. I think a lot of people do go through that, but and I'm pretty sure that even me saying, oh, don't let it, that's not really gonna necessarily prevent that from happening. But at least if that does happen to you, know that you're not alone, and whoever is in this situation, we've all been there. And the key is, it's okay to be in the situation, it's okay to feel how you feel, but just don't stay in the situation. You have to get out and you have to move forward. And the best way to move forward that I know how is just keep going. Like for me, what I did was I was just so mentally drained and done. I was like, honestly, I'm just not gonna think about medicine. Like, and that's actually how my YouTube video started, like my YouTube channel, and you can hear more about that in the origin story video, so I'll link both those videos. But yeah, so I was like, you know what, I'm done with medicine right now. I can't think. There's a global pandemic, people are dying. It just felt like the world was collapsing all around me at that time with everything that was going on. The way I chose to deal with it was just to take a break from medicine and just pursue the things, something new, something different that I hadn't really had time to indulge in. And for me, that was my creative side and filming and stuff, because I was like, you know what, that's something I have no experience in. That is something I don't know anything about, and I can just totally screw up and not feel like a piece of crap because I actually legitimately don't know anything about it. So it was nice to be a beginner and just step away from medicine, at least for a couple of weeks or a couple of months, and just do something different. But it's important, if you choose to, don't let it hold you back, and then get back into it and strategize and figure out what you want to do. And if you don't want to pursue medicine, that's fine too. And I think that that's really important, and it's something that needs to be said, and it takes the pressure off. Medicine and residency is not the end all be all. And I think that is one of the hardest things to realize as a medical student, or someone who's going through a tough time through the gap year, or especially when you've spent all of this time, money trying to match, and your investment didn't pay off and you didn't. It is the hardest thing to hear, but it is true. Honestly, being a resident, going through residency, it's not the end all be all, and you can still have a fulfilling and happy and successful financially, mentally life, not being a resident and being necessarily a practicing clinician. Because if you are applying to residency, you already have your MD. And I think one of the best things that one of my mentors told me is that having your MD is a hub degree. And when you're in it, you don't realize it, but it really is. And you can do so much with it. The whole world is at your disposal. Just because you are not a practicing doctor, you still have your medical degree. You still have a doctorate in medicine. You still have so much that you can offer. There are so many things that you can do. And I would say that allowing yourself, whether you choose to pursue it or not, it's a different story. But I think allowing yourself to leave medicine and not judging yourself for it, and being mindful of the fact that this is one aspect of your life, I think that takes a lot of the pressure off. And we all have heard about really tragic situations where you have like medical students and medical graduates that commit suicide because of depression and mental health concerns. It's very important for us to separate the two. And like, I think a big thing that happens, and it happened to me too, and it happens I think a lot of people in medicine, is that it becomes intertwined with your identity. So if you don't achieve your perceived version of success within that space, it impacts how you see yourself. And I think that it's a really good practice and a good idea to start mentally trying to train yourself to separate the two, and separate your identity and who you are from being a doctor, because it's very easy, I think, when you're in it, to intertwine the two. And when you intertwine the two, that's where it really starts to take a toll on your mental health, especially if you don't achieve the things that you want to achieve when you want to achieve them by. So I think that's the first thing, is try to separate the two and separate your career and your identity. And I think that's the biggest thing that I learned, and the biggest thing that helped me, is that you can still do other things aside from medicine. And who I am is not just a doctor. I'm not just a doctor. I'm not just a person that matched into residency. I'm more than that. And even if I didn't match into residency, I still have more to offer. And I think that's really important for you to remember when you're in this position, that you have so much more to offer. And if you choose to offer your talents and your gifts within the field of medicine, then the field of medicine is lucky to have you. But if it doesn't happen to be the field of medicine, then another field would be more than happy to have you. And there are so many things in this world that need help, and having someone that is as smart and as hardworking and dedicated as you are. Obviously, you had to be all of those things to get through medical school in the first place and get through all the boards. You have so much to offer in any field. So always keep that in mind, always keep it an option, and always remember that you are way more than this result, and just keep reminding yourself of that. So on that note, I wish you guys all the best, and when the results come out on Friday, I hope you get your top pick. If you haven't matched and you don't match on Friday after you know what? It's okay. It's okay. You have your entire life ahead of you. You have a lot of options ahead of you. You can pick your path. Choose your own adventure. Anyway, on that note, I hope you guys have a good rest of your week, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.